Hello and welcome to Punters Inside Run. The racing continues in Sydney. It's day one of the championships. It's a massive day for Group 1, some of the best racing all year. And in Victoria, the focus moves from Flemington to Bendigo. I'm joined as always by James Lamb from punters.com.au. James, good to see you.
Good to be here, Matty. Yeah.
And to borrow my mate Jason Richardson's line, we're in the presence of greatness. Mick Sharkie.
Is that
the perm?
Yes, the
multi got up over $22. We've worked it out in 6 weeks of doing it with over a $30 return.
Look, there's that many slabs and bouquets of flowers have turned up at Shark Towers this week. It's very flattering. I'm glad, but don't waste all your money on me, punters. Keep it a little bit for this week because we're going to go again.
All right, speaking of going again, we're going to look at the two big races, or the two big ones of the four Group 1s, and that is the Doncaster and the TJ. They are simply superb races. We'll look at Bendigo, we'll look at the Golden Rush and the Golden Mile, and also we'll get the Perm and we'll get the Perk a little bit later on. But now to Bendigo, gentlemen, and we start with the Golden Mile. Let's take a look at Munamek. This horse just keeps on going. Nick Ryan doesn't train him, just does a bit of walking and trains him on the course when he wins races.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think he's having he took 1 month off. He took September off, but this will be his 12th start for the campaign.
Extraordinary.
And he's holding his form, if not improving, with each run. He's won his last 2 starts over a mile by a fair margin. Slow tempo, fast tempo. He just keeps getting the job done, and I think he'll get the job done again, Matty.
He had a shock beat Munamek last time. He's had a bit of a break to freshen up for this.
I just worry about hit a shock at the mile. I think 1,400 metres sees him out. Lammy, would you say?
Yeah,
he's so
agree.
good at 14, and then he gets to the 1,450, and you think, hang on.
I think he's had 5 starts over 1,600. He might have pinched 1, but he hasn't placed in the other 4. So yeah, he's suspect at the mile, I reckon.
Just Folk was okay first up. Would prefer a lot of sting out of the ground.
Yeah, soft 6 as we record, but there doesn't look to be any more rain, so it might even get back into the good range. I thought Just Folk was pretty good first up. I mean, he was a $41 chance. He probably wasn't expected to finish as close as he did. Second up record is ordinary on paper, 5 starts for 1 placing, but just get the feeling he's been set for this, locally trained. 3 starts at Bendigo have all been really good. Won the Seymour Cup, strangely enough, at Bendigo last spring, which is a listed race, so I've got him as the main danger to Munamek.
All right, well, let's finish off your top 3 then.
Yep, Munamek on top. I think he just wins again. Good draw, low weight. He's staying down in the weight, 54.5. Just Folk for second, and I've got Here to Shock for third, but I think it is a 2-horse race.
Shark?
I think there's really good speed in this race, so I'm looking for those that'll be finishing off over the top of them. I think Munamek's, you're obvious, in great winning form. Wet or dry, it doesn't matter. He's drawn well. I think he'll win again. Just Folks, the danger set for this, and there's one at a bit of odds here, another one, number 10. Really good win first up. He's not a bad horse, this. He's somewhat underrated in the market here. Old mate Danny Beasley taking the ride. Bit of a blast from the past.
Well, I've got Munamek on top as well. I've got Inspirational Girl, the former Western Australian, to run second. The time to back her as second up. 5 starts for 4 wins there. I think way over the odds at around the $20. Is a group horse on her day, and Just Folk to run in for third. So pretty similar there, all gone for Munamek to win again. Let's go to the Gold Rush for the 2-year-olds. A few non-starters here, of the or first starters I should say, of the horses we've seen. Croatian Belle, 2 good wins and then had a crack at the Magic Millions.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with, well, not the problem, but my knock on Croatian Belle is that those 2 wins were in very small fields. I think 5 horses and 6 horses, and she lobbed just behind the leaders each time and enjoyed a perfect run in transit. Bit of a different setup here from barrier 11. I'm just not sure where she gets to in the run. So that's my only knock, but I do think the race brigade is the way to go here, Matty.
She's All Shenanigans won here and then was placed in a listed race in Adelaide.
Yeah, and that listed race form is pretty good with Show Real going and winning a good race, and also Bossy Nick coming out and winning last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, bolted in.
At Flemington. Yep. So the form is very strong. You'd have to give her a great chance.
Where'd you land for your top 3?
I'm with Croatian Belle. I think drawing wide's an advantage for this filly. She can just get a bit sort of keen when she's restrained or when she gets cluttered up, so she won't have any of those problems from out there in a wide gate. Magic Madonna loved its first up run, finishing off really hard last time at Sandown Hillside behind what looks to be a nice filly sort of for the spring as a 3-year-old, and She's All Shenanigans in next best.
Lemmy?
I'm going with She's All Shenanigans. I just think it probably leads barrier 5 with Linda Meach in the saddle, whereas Croatian Belle will be giving that horse a start. Might run it down anyway, but I just think at the prices, She's All Shenanigans on top. Elphinstone, the debutant, has jumped out quite well. Won its latest jump out over 900, so I've got it in for third.
I've got similar numbers. I've got Croatian Bell on top from She's All Shenanigans and Elphinstone of the Unraced the best, as James mentioned. All right, let's get to your best bets and your value bet at Bendigo.
Yep, best bet goes around in race 6, number 1, Queen Air. She's got 6 kilos more than her opposition, but I think she absolutely deserves that weight. She's an 82 rated, taking on horses rated in the low 60s, so looks to have a massive class edge. Fourth up, 2200 looks perfect. I think she'll be winning. Next best, Munamek, for the reasons outlined earlier. And the value, race 2, number 7, Savvy Sovereign. $16 hope. We're getting around $5 a place. I think a really nice 1x3 play. 7 starts this prep, 3 wins, 2 placings, and had genuine excuses in the 2 misses. So yeah, Savvy Sovereign, 2 from 2 at 1300 as well.
Sure.
I'm with Life Lessons as my best, Maddie. Race 5, number 4. She's second up here. First up, sat wide over 1400 in a Group 3 race at Flemington. She kept staying on. I really liked the last little bit of her race. She was probably entitled to get a bit tired and drop out. She ran second a Nugget last preparation. So I think that form's good enough in a small mares race. Race 7, number 13, Lethal Thoughts in the Bendigo Guineas. Look, he's $20 odd, but again, he was wide last start and stayed on well late. He is a much better horse than his form suggests, and he's drawn in. Lammy, I think he can outrun his odds.
My best bet is Queen Air, same as James, and I've already mentioned Inspirational Girl at around the 20-1 mark is my best value. All right, that's Bendigo looked at. We'll be back to, well, James, you can have a short break. You can come back and have a look at the quaddie at Bendigo, but we're going to look at 2 brilliant races next, and that's Sydney, and that's the Doncaster and the TJ Smith.
Racing, then you'll love the new betting brand for racing fans. With exclusive markets, promotions, insights and content. That's better. Chances are you're about to lose.
The main event for Punters Inside Run this week is day 1 of the Champs, and what a day it is. 4 Group 1s. We're going to cover 2. The first one is the Doncaster Shark, and it's always a fantastic race. It's about $6.50 the field here. You could pick 10 horses and miss it. It's a great race.
Absolutely. Look, you're going to get a price about whatever you like, aren't you, Matty? It's a super tough race. Throw in a few imports that we haven't seen before. Throw in some favoured runners and the 3-year-olds who we love backing in these big mile handicaps from wide gates. There's a few conundrums to be picked apart.
Let's talk about a couple. Mr. Brightside looking to back up after winning the All-Star Mile. Won it last year, but goes up in weight. That's the key, but is a 1,600 metre specialist.
1,600 metre specialist. Up in weight, yes, but I would argue 55.5 is
still winnable.
Within his range.
Yeah.
I think he's a much better horse than he was when he won it last year. The other key thing with Mr. Brightside is Zach Purton who takes the ride. So absolute world class. Some say best jockey in the world at the moment. Jumps on Mr. Brightside. Hard to beat.
I think I don't think Alligator Blood can turn the tables on Mr. Brightside. What about Fangirl? Is Anamo's hay list?
Yeah.
And there's no Anamo here.
Well, true, but she's drawn barrier 19.
Yeah.
So extremely hard from the outside gate. Will take a crafty ride to get her into a position from which she can win. You have to put her in the quaddie because of the strength of the form around her. I can't back her though.
All right, where did you land for your top 3?
I'm with one of these imports, Protagonist, who we saw first up at 2,000 metres on speed and really, really tough to the line. Zayrek was second in that race. Zayrek comes out and wins its next start. Protagonist comes back to the mile but tumbles down the handicap with 50 kilos on its back. Ben Thompson takes the ride, and Ben Thompson and Steph Thornton just announcing during the week that they're expecting their first. So maybe it's a little bit of a cherry on the top for them.
I don't know if Protagonist works in with that somehow, but...
maybe not.
Your other 2 numbers?
I'm with Mr. Brightside, number 2, and Fangirl for 3rd, just on the strength of that form. If she gets luck, I think she'll be running on to the top 4.
I've got one Zugotcha here. I just thought Zugotcha, just a lot of the stats sort of add up here. It's been a long time since a 3-year-old filly won the race. In fact, you've got to go back to Sunline, but I'm hoping for a soft track. It's soft at the moment. I hope it stays there. Both runs have been terrific so far, but they've been on a good surface. She excels on soft, drops down to that 50.5 kilos. We talk about having no weights, the same weight that Mr. Brightside carried last year. And the last time in that sort of situation won the Group 1 race, the Flight. I've got Mr. Brightside, as you mentioned, you can't discount over 1,600 metres. Zach Purton, last time we saw him, flew in, flew out with 2 Group 1s. And I've got Converge, who seems to be back to his best.
Great run last
it took almost the length of the straight for Animo to catch Converge. So 2 out of 3 third up and drops to 52 kilos. So Converge for me. All right, let's talk about the TJ Smith. And is this the best sprint race we've seen for a while?
It's Everest quality, isn't it?
It is Everest quality. And I reckon that, interesting betting-wise, Giga Kick seems to be drifting. In Secret seems to be coming in. I can't see why Giga Kick is drifting.
I can't see why either. I think Giga Kick is a better horse than In Secret. I think his first up run in that challenge was massive. 1,000 metres, well, I don't think he's a 1,000 metre horse. Yes, he might have been able to get away with 1,000, 1,100 metres as a 3-year-old against lesser company. But as he steps up to this class, I think we'll see him 12 and 1,400 perhaps. Maybe towards an all-aged, he might bob up in a race like that in a couple of weeks' time. He's a very, very talented sprinter. I think he's the heir to the throne of Nature Strip, and I think he'll win.
Speaking of Nature Strip, going to for a 4th TJ, has won a couple coming off defeats, and now would pass Chautauqua if it gets forward.
They say his gallop a week ago was the Nature Strip of old. Now, let's hope that he hasn't left it on the track and that he still has some fire in the belly, and we can see him in his favourite race, arguably, the TJ, get to somewhere near his best. You know, champions with backs against the wall, Matty, he doesn't know his back's against the wall, but you can't write them off, can you, those great horses?
You certainly can't. Let's have your top 3 then for the TJ. I think you've got Giga Kick on top.
Yeah, number 10. Yeah, Giga Kick on top. I think Private Eye will run a massive race. He was so good in the Everest last year. Nature Strip in for 3rd. They're my top 3, but you could have In Secret and others in there as well.
I've got Giga Kick on top. I'm not dropping off, and I'm staying with a 3-year-old filly In Secret. I think she's the best 3-year-old filly in the country. Goes up a couple of kilos on the Newmarket win, but she was terrific down the straight at Flemington. And I Wish I Win. Doing nothing wrong. Placings in both Group 1 races in the Lightning and the Oakley. So I'll go with I Wish I Win. 2 runs have been terrific. It's going to be a terrific race. We've also got the Sydney Cup and the Sires Produce, but let's have your best bets and your value at Randwick.
I think the best bet is in race 4, number 3, Sequestered, in the Adrian Knox. Look, she's short. She's about $2.50, $2.60 mark last time I looked, but her 2 wins leading into this have been pretty dominant. I think she wants to get out to this 2,000 metres, and there's a lot of these that are just fresh out of maiden grade, and they probably don't look like they can take that leap ahead.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, value bet race 10, number 5, Magic Time for Graham Begg, who is such a good trainer, and when he takes these horses into state, they are ready. Recent jump out was sublime. I think she's a great price each way in the last.
Yeah, I black booked Magic Time when I saw that second win, but I'm the same as you. I've got Sequestered as the best bet of the day at Randwick, and I've gone with Full of Sincerity to win the Sydney Cup. Went back to the 2000 after being behind Sharp and Smart in the New Zealand Derby, but got home, didn't do anything special, but the last 200 freshened up. It was the fastest 200 and off a 7-day backup, and gets the world-class Damien Lane in the saddle. So at odds, Full of Sincerity for me as the best value. Well, that's it for Sydney.
Can't wait, man. It's a massive day. Championships is a great meeting, and looking forward to week 1.
All right, that's Sydney covered. Next up, we'll take a look at the great man with his perm. We'll also try and find the quaddy at Bendigo.
If you're in love with racing, then you'll love the new betting brand for racing fans. With exclusive markets, promotions, insights, and content. That's better. Chances are you're about to lose.
This is Punters Inside Run, and this is where we get a little bit creative every week. We're trying to find the quaddie this week at Bendigo. We'll have a same race multi in the Gold Rush, and of course the world famous Perm, where Shark is going beautifully at the moment. That's his multi. We'll get to that shortly. We'll start with my same race multi, and it's going to be on the Gold Rush, the 2-year-olds, and I've gone with Croatian Belle to win. I've gone with the first starter, Elphinstone, to finish in the top 3, and Shark wasn't, he was pretty keen on Magic Madonna. I think that's a religious thing for him, but anyway, Magic Madonna, or it could be singing, you never know, in the top 4. So that's the same race multi for the Gold Rush. All right, Shark. We talked at the top about you're well ahead here. Last week, $22. What are you doing this week?
Well, this is the beginning. Well, last week was the beginning of a streak.
Okay.
I feel like we can string 4 or 5 together of these.
At least.
You are the North Melbourne of tipping.
I am the North Melbourne of tipping. Yeah, we got 2 last year. We're already away. Anyway, we're going to start in Sydney because I think it's a very good place to start. Race 4, number 3 in the Adrian Knox, Sequestered. Just goes and wins, I think. Should
Doesn't
knock
have to
those
beat
over.
much. Yeah.
Doesn't have to beat much, and jumped out really well in between from its last win to this race, so
Yep.
I think it'll win. Sires Produce at Randwick, race 6, number 1, Cylinder.
Almost won the slipper. Yeah.
I would have backed Shinzo here. I'm happy to back Cylinder. And then we go to Bendigo, race 6, number 1, Queen Air, which is your best land.
Even money is a steal.
So
We're very confident.
if we're alive into Queen Air and it doesn't win, I'm blaming you.
Yep, that's all right.
And then the streak, it's
my
ruined
fault.
because of you.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's all right. I'll wear that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Queen Air, let's get to our quaddie now. So this is where I start with a quaddie and the boys come in and massage it a bit. We've got a bit of a problem though. We're getting 3 legs in a second every week. We keep missing one. We shouldn't have missed not an option last week. I won't even talk to you, Lambie, about what you did on the weekend, but I've got Queen Air 1 out. Is that good enough? Or have I missed anything?
No, I mean, if you don't take her 1 out, then you end up with 4 or 5. I don't think there's a clear danger, so I'm happy to take her 1 out.
She's got 20-odd points on them at the handicap rating.
Yeah.
I think she should be winning this.
All right, Queen Air 1 out. To the second leg, I've got Meridius, My Bella May, Marble Arch, The Fortune Teller, Sorrel Rising, and Is It Me?
I would put Lethal Thoughts in there.
You had Lethal Thoughts as your best roughie, so Lethal Thoughts goes in.
Does King's Consort have any hope?
Oh, look, he's a pretty smart horse.
I did look at it.
Barrier 1. Yeah, I reckon you could give Sorrel Rising the cut.
I'm going to say something controversial here, Matty. I tipped Meridius last start, but I think he had his birthday that day. I can't see Is It Me not finishing in front of him.
Do you know what? I thought the same thing, but I just threw Meridius in because he went 1 out with Queen Air, but I had Is It Me well on top of Meridius.
Yeah, I think so.
So Meridius out.
Let's get Meridius out.
And Sorrel Rising out. Brent Stanley at Bendigo, though, he normally finds a winner. But anyway.
He does.
So we've just gone 2 for 2 there. Let's go to the third leg. I've got Munamek, Here to Shock, Just Folk, and I've thrown an Inspirational Girl. So between us, that's our 4 tips.
I think we're sweet there.
Yeah.
Okay. Last leg. I've got My Numero Uno, Sessions Road, Bill the Boxer, Sacred Palace, and Outback Action.
There's a horse that we really shouldn't be including, but I'd be filthy if it won and we didn't have it. Mama
What's that?
Reagan.
Mama Reagan.
I know it was ghoulish last start down the straight, but back around a bend.
Ghoulish.
Ghoulish.
Nick Ryan strikes at 23% at Bendigo lifetime, so I think Mama Reagan has to go in.
It's ghoulish. It only wins on Halloween.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Have you got anything to throw in or knock out?
I've got nothing.
We've got nothing after that. All right, so we're just adding one there, Mama Reagan. So we did have 83% for the 100, so we've now got 6 by 4 is 24, by 6 is 144. So that'll probably give us about, 60-something percent.
This is the part of the show where Lammy and I just
We just nod.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
not.
Smile
Yeah.
now.
So we've got over 60% for the quaddie, and
we'll get that. Ow.
There we go.
That one hurt.
all right, that's it. Thank you, James, as always. Thank you, Shark.
Thanks,
Thank
Matty.
you, Matty.
Thank you for joining us. Don't forget you subscribe below. And, next week it'll be day 2 of the championships, another huge one from Randwick.
If you're in love with racing, then you'll love the new betting brand for racing fans. With exclusive markets, promotions, insights, and content. That's better. Chances are you're about to lose.